Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com. I have a fun fold here for you today. It's called a double easel. It closes and has that little card there to reveal where you can write your sentiment, and then you just pop it right back in there to keep it closed. I'm going to be using two bundles in the holiday catalog. The So Many Stars bundle comes with beautiful Christmas sentiments and different designs of stars. So many different stitched stars in this stamp set. This will be in the holiday catalog. December 3rd, the retiring list will come out, and you'll find out if this is going to carry over to the annual catalog. But I do know a sneak peek into the mini spring catalog does have the stitched stars in it with a stamp set that has "You Are a Star" and "So Proud of You." So I'm going to love that. So keep your eye out to see if this one's going to carry over. If it's not carrying over, I highly suggest getting the So Many Stars bundle together at a 10% discount in the holiday catalog. And then I'm also going to be using the Sip Sip Hooray bundle that has the Sip and Celebrate dies that cut out the different stemware for having some cocktails, and the beautiful Sip Sip Hooray stamp set. And we're going to be using that here. So as you can see, we're using Night of Navy and Copper and Very Vanilla. And we're going to start out with a half sheet of our Night of Navy. It's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So 5 1/2 is half of the 11, and 2 3/4 is half of the 5 1/2. You can find all the measurements and the products and the colors and embellishments and things I use on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com. Right after the description in the YouTube video, you'll see a link, and you can just press it and you're sent straight to my blog, and you can see all of that. So we're going to fold our card in this type of a shape here. So we're going to have the longer side up. Then we're going to have a mountain going up and a little tent there, and that's going to be the card base. Now, since this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I took my copper and brought it down 1/4 of an inch so that I had 1/8 of an inch going the whole way around. So my copper is 4 by 5 1/4, and then my designer series paper, the brightly gleaming with the copper accents in it, it's 3 3/4 by 5, and that just brings it down 1/4 of an inch on each side. Now, because I'm using that beautiful copper paper, I'm not wasting it covering it up with the designer paper, so you can be assured that I cut out things from it. I used the spray of dyes that's in the, let's bring it out here, in the Stitch Stars dies. So I use this to cut that out, and then I use the champagne flute out of the Sip and Celebrate, and then these stars here just popped right out of the die. And then this star is one of the beautiful stars. It's also in the Stitch Stars dies. So those all came out of there. Now, I should have taken this the champagne flute, and I could have brought it down till just 1/4 inch above there, and I would have fit this star here. But I had done this, and I forgot about that star, so I had a scrap left. But, you know, use that luxurious paper wisely. So I cut that all out of there, but I only had one champagne flute, and I needed 2 for the inside of the card. So what I did is I went down here to the bottom part of that easel, and I cut another one out, and I'm just going to be covering it up with the designer paper. So there we go. Whoop, open up my snail and get this adhered here. Get any little pieces of dust and lint that I've picked up along the way. We're going to pop that right there. And we might as well just put it on, there we go. Why am I not working here? I'm going too fast. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Just get our snail on here. Well, I must have a snail that's not working quite right here. So I will just use a little bit of glue here. There we go. So then we are going to put that onto the bottom part of our easel, and we've got that done. And we may as well put, I like that navy pattern there too. Might as well put this on the top part of our card. And we'll put it on the copper. Get it all on there nice and centered. There we go. And then put some on the back here. Okie doke. And then we're going to pop this onto the top back portion of the card. And there we go. Oh, that navy and copper is so elegant. This is actually going to be a wedding card for a very special couple. When my daughter got married, my husband's partner had come into the wedding, and his wife was not able to make it. My daughter had never met my husband's partner yet. They had just got into business together. He's a delightful, delightful man. And his wife wasn't able to make it to the wedding, so he brought his daughter to the wedding. Okay, I'm going to tell the rest of the story here in a moment. It's really exciting. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we need to have this easel part that's going to go in here. So what I did is I cut, here we go, and I just realized I don't remember the measurement of this. Okay, so let's put our ruler on here, and we're going to start with a 7.5 inch piece of paper, and then it's just scored at 3.5, which is half, and then the dimension of the width is 2 3/4. So aren't you glad I have all these measurements written somewhere down for you? So we're just going to make this kind of a little card. Now, you could make this longer and it would maybe keep it a little bit tighter, but I didn't want to cover up all those stars. I think that's like the star of the card. So I kind of made this as small as I could get it and still have it close and also have the sentiment in there. So what I'm going to do is I have 3 different Very Vanillas. Since this is 3.5, these are going to be 2 3/4. And since this is, what did I say that? This is 2 3/4 and this is 3.5. So this is going to be 2.5 by, it should be 3 1/4, right? 2.5 by, 3.5. So, right, this is 3 3/4 here, right? Yeah, 3 3/4 because it was 7.5. So you're going to have one that goes on the front, one that goes in the inside there, and one that goes on the top part of the inside. So let's just work on getting those done. I'm going to just set this aside for a second. So we just put, hope your big day is just one happy hour after another. Okay, so we're just going to ink up that sentiment with our navy. So my husband's partner brings his beautiful daughter to the wedding. My daughter's 2 college roommates and high school friends that she grew up with that were in her wedding, their brother is in the service and he wasn't able to get back for the wedding. At the last minute, he was able to come home. So he surprised us by coming to the wedding. So he's at the wedding. My husband's partner's wife, because she was out of town that week, ends up bringing his daughter. They meet each other at the wedding, and they date from that day until just a couple months ago. He asked her to marry him, and they're getting married in October, a week away from them knowing each other for 3 years. So it's just such a great love story. So when I was making this card, I was thinking of Derek and Larissa. It's just so exciting to see that these 2 beautiful people got together, such kind and loving people, and just so excited for the wedding in October. So here we go. I'm going to show you now a really fun thing that you can see all my scribbles here that put this stamp set inside the stars. As I was making this card, I did not even realize that these stars fit into that die. So what we're going to do is going to ink up those stars. And there's 2 different types of stars in the stamp set. I'll show you here in a second. So what I'm doing is I am getting them so that they're going to be lower down on here because I want to have an empty space for when I put the star in here. So I'm going to bring them down as low as I can and keep them both, all of the stars, all 5 of them, on the, okay, that, wait, do I have them right? This way. I was thinking, why does that look funny? Okay, so we're going to bring them down there, and you'll see how the copper spray of stars fits over those. And I'm so glad that I noticed I had that wrong. And see, these will fit right over them and not cover up the sentiment. So what we're going to do is put a little bit of glue. Isn't that a romantic story there? You end up going to a wedding that neither one was supposed to be at, and now like they're dating. And he is the brother, just like a third brother for Sarah, my daughter. And just so, so happy for them. Okay, so now we're going to take our copper spray and we're going to put it over these stars. So you just kind of line them up, which is definitely not easy to do when you're making a video. And I kind of just, if I get the two, you kind of just have to push them all into place because the die itself is kind of delicate. So if you push the die where you want it to be and then hold it down for a moment, you're going to end up with the stars being in the right place. So there we go. We have the front done. Okay, so that is going to go on the front of our card, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here because I know exactly where it's going. I'm going to pop that onto the front of the card. Alrighty, and then I'm going to leave this on here because I'm going to do some more messy work. On the top of the inside, I put these champagne flutes in copper, but look at the neat little bubbles I made with the stars. So we're going to get these little stars that are also in this. See, these are the other stars that you can make here with that spray. And then I'm going to use this little cluster of stars here to make the champagne bubbles. So what I'm going to do is use my Night of Navy, and I'm going to ink up those stars. And then I'm going to, I like to get them so that they fit really nice on the top of that card. This is a really cute stamp set, a really cute image here. It fits on there just neatly just across the top there. And so that's going to go onto, now I can remove this here, and we're going to put this at the top of the card. So we can put glue across here because we are not writing on that portion of the card, so we won't get any lumpy bumpies there. So we'll put that right there. And then we're going to be putting the two wine glasses, the champagne glasses here that we already die cut out. And what I did with those is I popped them up. So I'm going to layer one of them over the other. Okay, so this is going to go here so they both fit on here. There. And like that. And then I'm going to put these up with dimensionals here. So I have my big dimensionals here, the regular size dimensionals here, put there. And then I'm going to use these smaller ones on the pedestal of the champagne flute down here. Okay, and then we're just going to remove those backs of those dimensionals. And I'm going to put those champagne flutes right there on the top of the card with the champagne bubbles coming out. And then the bottom of the card, we're just going to stamp Sip, Sip, Hooray. So I think this, so far, with this so many stars, for it being a Christmas sentiment based, I've actually used it 3 times as congratulations. So there we go. We'll put Sip, Sip at the top. And then we're going to do, and it stamps so nicely because it's photopolymer, that really, really easy to work with because you've got, it looks like I don't have enough ink there. Okay, and the hooray down here in the corner gives you plenty of room to write a congratulations there. And then we're going to put this on the inside of the card, and we've got that part almost done because we have a few more stars to put on there. So we've got the inside of the card done. Isn't that just adorable? I was working on this. It seemed to be like one of those all-day cards. And my daughter was calling me on her way home from school saying, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Still working on my card, still working on my card." So needless to say, when she got home, she was pleased when I finally got it done. So here we go, putting our little mechanism to hold the card closed. And I just used the 1 3/8 and a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. Now, you could use your layering circles too, whatever gets you to, you know, a good size there. This seemed to be like a good size for me because of how I stamped the sentiment on the front there. So you just want some type of mechanism that's going to hold that down. But before we do that, we want to get this put on here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of here. Give it a nice layer there. And what you do is you come here and you get it centered on the card. And that's the reason, like I said, I made it a little smaller than some other double easel card measurements I've seen, because I wanted to see as much of that beautiful paper as possible. So there we go. And now we know when it closes, we need to put our mechanism down here. Now what I did to put this circle on here is I used these edges of my dimensionals, you know, the part that you have a ton of them. And what I did was I cut these 2 lines, and I did like 3 little mountains there. I closed the card and I put them right on the edge of where I'd want the card to pop in there. And I might have to trim off and I just put it right along that corner edge. And then I think I might have got it a little too big. I think I only used 2 of them. So let's just trim off. We just used 2 little bumps there. You know, that's all dependent on what size circle you're using. So let me pop this off here and snip that out there. And then we have these dimensionals that'll be in place there, and we can put that circle that we die cut punched out right in that corner, and it'll hold the card down and keep it closed. Now, after I got it done, I got this far and I said, "Oh, that looks neat with the stamping inside, the stars on the copper swoosh there," but something was still missing. So I put my 1 star here, and this is that beautiful star that was die cut, and a dimensional from our little mini dimensional pack fits perfectly inside the star middle. And so then I just popped that on there, and that made a great accent on there. And then I did see that it was still a little bare here and there, and I was going to stamp some more stars in there, and I thought, oh wait, I have all my little stars that fell out. And so I just started playing around with those stars. And I took some of the one big one, and I put a mini dimensional on the back of it, and I kind of offset it up at the top there, and then took a mini dimensional under this other one that could fit a mini dimensional there. Okay, there we go. I think it fits on there. And then I popped that one off to the side here, and then I had 2 smaller ones left, and I just popped them where they fit. So I stuck a little, let me get a piece of scratch paper here, because I don't want to get too much of that glue to blob, especially, and then just get a little blob there. Take the end and then make a little dot on your card. And where do we think another one would fit? So I put one down here, but I actually think I'm going to stick it right there. Just looks like a nice spot there. So then I'm just pulled these up, these stars, and I put them right over the glue. So you've got a lot of fun, excitement, celebration going on in this card. So I just It took a while to get it made, but it is a really simple card once you get, you just have to stamp the sentiment, the stars across there, and overlay them, pop some stars on, make a little mechanism there. 2 champagne flutes with the bubbling of stars at the top, sip, sip, hooray. So you've got a great wedding card. And even if you don't have the brightly gleaming paper, it is sadly, the supplies have been exhausted for that. Just any type of star paper you have, just adding some gold or silver or glitter paper or glimmer paper, just a really neat festive card there. So if you want to make this double easel card and make it into a great celebration card, a wedding card, you can go to my blog, cindyleebedesigns.com. You can find all the measurements and how to make this card. And I want to thank you for buzzing by, friends.